All right, so we're here at the second battle of Bull Run, the second battle of Manassas. Okay, gonna go ahead and okay. So, August 28th, 1862, about like a year later, this is again another Confederate victory. General George B. McClellan, yeah, press edit in the top right box. There you go. So this is a Confederate victory. Okay. General George B. McClellan assembled a highly disciplined force of 100,000 soldiers called the Army of the Potomac. So McClellan is going to be for the Union. And then General Robert E. Lee took command of the Confederate Army in Virginia. He again is another very well-known military officer. And then General John Pope was ordered to march on Richmond. And General Jackson wanted to defeat Pope's army before it could join the Army of the Potomac, but the Confederate troops forced the Union Army to retreat in defeat. So we see at the the second battle of Bull Run, again, it was another loss to the Union, so another win for the Confederates. Sorry, one more. General Robert E. Lee decided it was time to take the war to the north. So, right, they've been fighting in the south, okay? But Robert E. Lee, the commander of the Confederate Army, he was like, we need to go to the north and now invade the north. All right, we good? All right. All right, Battle of Antietam. Let's go ahead and display all these. All right, so there we go. This is one of the bloodiest battles in the Civil War. I mean, like the bloodiest single day battle of the Civil War and in U.S. history. I mean, think about U.S. history because why do you think it's the bloodiest battle in U.S. history? Yeah. Exactly. Both sides are counting for U.S., right? Okay. And so versus a battle like Javier was saying, if they were fighting a battle against the Germans in one of the world wars, right, we'd only count the U.S. casualties versus we're having to count both here. Okay, but it was a Union victory. It ended up being a Union victory, and it stopped Lee's northward advance. Okay, so it stopped it, right, because Lee was wanting to go and invade the north. This stopped it. Half of Lee's troops attacked the Union force at Harper's Ferry and captured the town. But General Lee and McClellan's armies met along Antietam Creek in Maryland. Remember, Maryland stayed with the Union. Okay, so it's technically considered why I'm saying the North. But the Union had over 12,000 casualties, and the Confederacy had over 13,000 casualties. So definitely the bloodiest day here in the Civil War. Okay, casualties. Does that mean just dead? Okay, it includes all that: wounded, captured, those who died. Okay, that's why, but it's called bloodiest because again, wounded is still not good. Yeah, when they had to and just saw off a limb. Yeah, they definitely. I still remember it was actually really cool. I wish we could do it here. When I was in middle school, and this is even up in the north, they had like a Civil War day, and they had people came and they brought tools and medicine, like things that they used back then in the Civil War. They brought like a cannon, and they like shot off the cannon. So we had this huge field in the back of our school. It was really cool, and like I just remembered that. But like hearing those, yeah, how they had to chop off like people's limbs and stuff when they're in the literally like using like a saw, like one of those metal saws that you just see in your like garage or something like that. Yeah. So yeah, pretty gross. Anyways, fun fact. All right, let's go ahead and move on. So the Anaconda Plan. So this is going to be a strategy. Okay, so this is right, the Union Navy strategy. Basically, set up a blockade of southern ports. What's a blockade again, Javier? Yeah, they're gonna like block out any southern ships from getting in. Okay, and from things going out. Okay, so the blockade largely prevented the South from selling or receiving goods, right? And so a big thing of the South's economy is selling and exporting cotton, right? Selling goods like that. And so this seriously damaged the Southern economy because they couldn't get goods out, but then also they couldn't get goods in. And so it also hurt their military from not being able to get supplies coming into them. Yeah, just a little. Or food. I mean, right? Alright. Hey, William David, please stop. Alright. So here's like a picture. Okay, anaconda is like a snake. Okay? And so you see how the snake, right? And I'm saying there was not actually a large snake like that, okay? But right, the shape of it, right, showing like we are going to, because I'm pretty sure anacondas, the snakes, they like circle around their prey and like block out. Okay? Okay. So that's kind of what they're doing, right? They're kind of blocking out and trying to circle around them. What? Okay. Anyways. Ironclads. Okay, so an ironclad is a ship heavily armed with iron. So remember, their ships at this time they were mainly made out of wood, right? And so a bomb or something on a wooden ship is going to pretty destroy it pretty fairly. Well, if it's armored with iron on the sides, right? That bomb, that missile, right, is going to be a lot harder to break through because that iron is going to protect it. And so we actually see some ironclad battles happening in the Civil War. So in a battle at Hampton Roads, Virginia, a Union ship, the Monitor, forced the Confederate ship, the Merrimack, to withdraw, which saved the Union fleet and allowed the Union naval blockade of the South to continue. So there was some clashing between some ironclads, some ships from both sides, and with the Union ship forcing the Confederate ship to kind of withdraw, it helped the Union be able to have that southern blockade. Here's some pictures of, right, when I'm talking about an ironclad ship. So this is the USS Cairo, okay, at the Vicksburg National Park. I will say one of the cool things that I have learned about living here in the South versus in the North is that you can go and visit a lot of these Civil War, places. That was, I mean, because a lot of the fighting, like we've talked about already, has been in the South, right? And so you can go still. Like I had a friend telling me like he had taken like a metal detector and was like just walking in a field where they had like fought, and he was able to find like bullets from the time period still, and I'm like, what? That is so cool. And like he showed me pictures that of like the bullets and stuff, and it was like really cool. Like I didn't know that was a thing, living in the North. And I mean, I'm sure you guys didn't either, but like literally there's fighting all around. I mean, Vicksburg we're going to talk about, up in near like the Corinth area, there's fighting up there. So it's really cool. All right, Battle of Shiloh. See, that's so cool. Uh-huh. So, April 6th to 7th in 1862, it's a Union victory. Okay. So the Union Army gained greater control of the Mississippi River Valley, which one of their strategies was to gain the control of the Mississippi River, kind of to split the South. Because remember, it would split Arkansas and Texas away from the rest of the South, and if they gain control of the Mississippi River. And so we see General Ulysses S. Grant, who is, when he finally came into command of the Union, we actually start seeing some more victories from the Union. He is definitely a big impact for the Union. He will later on become president. So he commanded troops during the Union's Western Campaign. Again, like I was saying, the Western Campaign focused on taking control of the Mississippi River, and this would cut off, right, Louisiana, Arkansas, Texas from the rest of the Confederacy. Right, splitting the South. That would be very harmful, right, to the South, because they would lose troops, they would lose food production, all of that. And so from bases on the Mississippi River, the Union Army was attacking Southern communication and transportation networks. All right. So, General Johnston led Confederate troops in an attack on Grant's forces near Shiloh Church. But with the help of the Army of the Ohio, Grant was able to push the Confederate forces back into Mississippi, and so they were able to start controlling over the Mississippi River Valley. They gained them more control of the Mississippi River Valley. All right, we good? All right, fall of New Orleans. So, all right, April 29, 1862. Obviously, just from the name of it, fall of New Orleans, you can see that it was a Union victory, because New Orleans is going to be right in Louisiana, which is part of the Confederacy. So it's the largest city in the Confederacy, and especially it was a gateway to the Mississippi River. We've talked about the city of New Orleans being one of the biggest southern ports, right? And so it's very important for the Confederacy. But Union Admiral is a Navy officer, okay? David Farragut was unable to destroy the two forts that guarded the entrance to New Orleans, and so his fleet slipped by the forts and made their way into New Orleans, and so New Orleans eventually fell to the Union a few days later. He also went on to take control of Baton Rouge and Natchez, Mississippi, before approaching Vicksburg. So they're going up the Mississippi now. So Shiloh is going to be north. It's going to be like kind of in the like Tennessee region, Southern Illinois region. And so now we have right, Farragut's fleet going up, and then Grant's army is going to make its way south, and we're going to be coming up to the siege of Vicksburg. All right, let's get going then. Whoop. All right, so May to July 1863, this eventually became a Union victory. And why I'm saying eventually, because look, it lasted like 2 months, 3 months. Okay, this was Vicksburg was a very important city. Basically, if the Union was able to control Vicksburg, they were going to be able to control the entire Mississippi River. Okay, and the South knew that too, and so they were really trying to hold on to Vicksburg. But the geography of Vicksburg, the invasion made it impossible. It was impossible for the Union forces, as in like these Confederates. They had such a good positioning in Vicksburg, they were able to keep invaders out. So General Grant decided to pretty much starve the city into surrender, as in like literally just like blockade them. Okay, and eventually he was like, they're gonna just starve and they're gonna want to. I actually read a book, and it was actually a really good book. I can't remember the name of it, but I really liked reading about it. It was about like someone who was there in Vicksburg, like a person, kind of like reminiscing about this siege of Vicksburg. Anyways, Grant's troops cut off the city from the food and supplies, and then they shelled it repeatedly. They just kept bombing and bombing the city. Confederate soldiers there were also sick and hungry because a lot of them had retreated there from other places, especially after the Battle of Lake Jackson and stuff. And so they kind of were there, and they were already sick and hungry. And eventually, on July 4th, Vicksburg surrendered. Here's an Illinois Memorial, Vicksburg National Military Park. So again, you can go to. That's actually one of the places I've been like meaning to go to for a while is Vicksburg, because you can still go and see like all the stuff from the Civil War there. All right. So that is it with our notes. What I want you to do is on the timeline there, go ahead, place the battles. There may be more lines. What I would do is maybe like I would put the election, okay, right, or when the Confederates did that. Then I would start putting the battles. So put like Fort Sumter there, right? Then what happened after Fort Sumter? The rest of the states seceded. Start putting that stuff. And again, you just need to put the names. All you need to do is like add text boxes, or if you have a stylus, you can write it in there. Okay. Put them in chronological order though. Then you're going to submit this as a PDF to the part 1. Okay. So